All right, this is Justin Bowe's final for role in interpersonal communication. It's a report on personal zone. Here are my 6 people, my second family.
Okay. Now.
Okay, the personal zone, also known as proxemics, or the study of space in between humans. Introductions. Of all the nuances inherent of nonverbal communication, the personal zone is one of the most intriguing. It's part of our everyday lives, changing how people see us on a daily basis. We all seem to develop it in one form or another. There are theories to why this is. I will dive into the info about the personal zone, what it really is, what the consequences and effects of breaches are, and lastly, how the personal zone has and will continue to change. Proxemics, in short, is the study of the interrelated observations and theories of man's use of space as a specialized elaboration of culture. In short terms, it's the study of the use of space in interpersonal communication, the space between human beings and how we perceive it. It was first coined in 1963 by Edward T. Hall. He came up with the idea of proxemics and the study of proxemics, although before that, the study was in its infancy and unaffiliated with anything else and unofficial. There are 2 main categories concerning personal zones, the personal space and territory. Territory is something that we perceive as ours and is within our personal space, but isn't exactly within our personal zone. So you can give it to items like at a workplace, if you have a cubicle or something, you consider that to be yours and nobody else can breach it. So it's an extension of your personal space. They found that it originates from the amygdala by a study in Caltech by neuroscientists in 2009. It was published in the November 20th issue of Neuron. If you don't know, the amygdala is our most basic part of our brain. So it's a fight or flight response. So they think that the reason why we become awkward or anxious when people enter our personal zone is because we're worried about our security and whether or not they can harm us. The personal distance zones, just a brief overview. We have public space here, which ranges from 12 to 25 feet. The social space, which is for business transactions and such, range from 4 to 12 feet. The personal space is 1.5 to 4 feet. That's what I'm going to be speaking about. And the intimate space is from contact to 1.5 feet. Personal zone aspects, like I said, the fight or flight response from the amygdala, which they originally found that they had a girl who didn't exactly have a personal zone or respected other people's And so they did a study on her and they monitored her amygdala to find out whether or not it was actually consequential in personal zones. It can be attributed to property once again. You can say this item is mine and consider that to be a part of your personal zone. It's reserved for friends only. Intimate zone can be allowed, but only under certain circumstances, like special occasions or when you feel especially intimate. It can be suspended, but with conditions. And say a bar, you have 2 stools next to each other, well, you can invade the other person's personal space without any consequences because it's the social norm, it's what's expected. So it can be suspended. Charisma can mitigate the consequences or allow for immediate entry. If you're really good at speaking or making people feel comfortable, they'll allow you into their personal zone. It can be extended to include other body language. If you ever try staring at somebody outside their personal zone, it's not as intimate or effective as if you were inside their personal zone and were to stare at them directly. So it can be extended to other nuances of nonverbal communication. Your personal zone, personally, it can be larger or smaller than normal. So it's all personalized according to your personality. It can be more or less conditional, meaning you can have conditions set like me personally, nobody enters my personal zone at least I don't like it unless you're a friend or family or a girl for some reason. You can attribute the zone to other items, even people, differently. In other words, you can consider your wife to be inside your personal zone, so somebody enters her personal zone, you also breaching the husband's. It can extend and contract according to personality and situations. Like I explained, in a bar situation, it kind of contracts because other people are really close to you, and that's what's expected. The personal zone effects, in other words, they make you feel more secure. Personal zones make intimacy more effective because not everybody can get inside your personal zone. Therefore, when people do, it's more effective. It's more personal. They enable us to survive longer because, well, germs and other things and people that you don't know or you have no idea about if they enter your personal zone. And the reason you get all flighty about it is because you don't know whether or not you feel secure about that person. They can allow for equitable developing relationships. In other words, you can have a relationship that's on an even keel. You know, social norms and formality are in place for that reason. So you can develop a relationship without the hassle of becoming too attached or unattached from somebody. There you go. Personal zone consequences. Good. They can indicate a desire for intimacy. So if you approach somebody and enter their personal zone, it means you want to get to know them better. It can allow for more meaningful relationships, closer relationships, because once again, not everybody can enter your personal zone. So those that do are important to you. It can prevent problems. Relationships that are either poisonous or haphazard are not going to develop as quickly because you have a personal zone and a personal bubble. The bad, unfortunately, is discomfort or hostility. If you were to approach somebody and stare at them in the eyes or hug them and you don't know them, well, unfortunately, it might cause discomfort or hostility for both parties involved. It can also damage relationships. If you want to take a relationship to a new level, you have to go about it in a certain way. Otherwise, it might damage the existing relationship that you have with the person. Personal zones in every day, they indicate acceptable territory, acceptable actions even. They prevent hurtful relationships, once again, keeping poisonous people and things that people you wouldn't get along with normally out of your personal zone. They reinforce relationships, allowing intimacy and more contact. They grant a sense of privacy. Therefore, in high anxiety environments or environments in which you don't feel secure, they allow you to have a sense of privacy and security because inside your personal zone, nobody is supposed to enter it. Personal zone changes. In the past, more formal cultures, they were implemented more often. Social norms and things like that were more pronounced. Personal zones were more pronounced or recognized. So in like the Victorian age, families getting together, it was much more formal and you would never breach somebody's personal zone, and they were much larger and more complex. They could be severely consequential. To invade somebody else's personal zone is a taboo, and everybody knows it, but nobody speaks about it. In the future, with social media, personal zones are becoming less obvious because of Facebook, and nobody knows when to stop or when to begin because all their information is just there, and everybody can read it, and everybody has access to it. Because of this, they're more likely to breach the personal zone. In other words, because you know where they live, you also want to know their age and sex. And so if you ask these questions because you already have some personal information, they might cause problems. So social media is becoming a big issue. The more attributed to virtual information now as well. Even data on a flash drive is considered yours. It's inside your personal zone. So virtual information is becoming a big one. In conclusion, in light of the information presented, the personal zone is a much more important aspect in everyday life, and I believe most people suspect. Everybody has one, and there are effects and consequences in personal lives for each person. Although everyone's personal zone is different, their presence is evident and consequential. They may affect you negatively, but they also enhance our lives for intimate or simply friendly reasons. These ways may change with the future, with the coming of new technologies and evolution of cultural norms. They may become less defined. For now, they are part of our nature and an important aspect of interpersonal communication. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,